Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to your reading for December 2025. You have this Enchanted Illusion card. It says, see through the veil of illusion and have the courage to see things as they really are. You have the Stag Spirit. It says, you're meant for great things. Trust in all that you have to offer. Yes, you are meant for greatness here, Scorpio, and I think you need to believe it, of course. You have that Enchanted Illusion card, and again, we still have Neptune and Pisces. I personally, I don't think Neptune and Pisces is bad. I do think illusions are part of the challenge with Neptune and Pisces. It's like you can see things that seem like they're not real, that are real, and you can think that some other things are real, but they're not. So, it kind of goes both ways. We have to really kind of like take a closer look at anything that comes into our life with Neptune and Pisces, and we just have to be willing to explore it. I think that part of like the whole Neptune and Pisces thing is learning to not overinvest in things, but also learning to take a chance on things as well. So that what that means is it's a good idea to take like a tiny little step towards something. If you get an opportunity, or if you have a person coming in for love, you don't overcommit, you don't undercommit, you just try it a little bit and see what happens, right? And as long as you do that, you'll be perfectly fine. In your first row for your current general energies, you have the Six of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, and the Sun. Six of Cups can be like childlike energy, being more playful, which is what I feel for you here, Scorpio. Six of Cups can represent a lot of things. But for you, I feel it's about being more playful. I also feel that it's about being willing to break things as well. Sometimes I think the Six of Cups can just represent being a little bit too careful in what you're doing. It's like, trying to do something too delicately. The thing with the Six of Cups is we need to do enough to make an impact. Meaning, if you're working on a project, a relationship, a business, whatever, like I said, it's about balance right now. It's about finding that Goldilocks zone with Neptune and Pisces, where you do enough to make an impact, but not so much that you're like over investing. And what I would say here is that maybe right now you could probably put in a little bit more into anything that you're working on. Again, you don't have to go crazy. I would just take an extra step. I think that's all you have to do here. The Six of Cups also wants you to be more happy. I literally just said to Cancer that I think everybody is going to have these cards of happiness. Neptune and Aries. Neptune moves into Aries in January. It's like, I think part of Neptune and Aries will be that we have to create our own world. Like, that's not exactly what it means, but according to me it is. So there you go. But I don't know. Take it up with God if you have a problem with it, right, Scorpio? And what I would say is, I think we have to create our own little world that is very positive and not miserable or whatever is going on in the world. But it's like we have to do things to bring happiness down to earth. And I definitely feel that's going to be a focus for everyone at the end of the year here. You have the Four of Pentacles. Again, the end of 2025, we are finishing shedding our skin. 2025 was the year of the snake in the Chinese astrology, Chinese zodiac. And so we're getting to the end. I think the Chinese New Year actually starts in February, so we have technically a couple more months of this. But I think being the year of the snake, we're at the end of the year, we're finally pushing through that last bit of skin that we are shedding off. And the Four of Pentacles is those things that we hold on to that we don't need. And specifically, the Four of Pentacles is the things we hold on to that limit our situation, right? And so we have to look at our life and say, am I picking comfort zones? Am I doing things that are preventing my growth and expansion? Again, you have that Stag Spirit. It says you're meant for great things. It doesn't say you're meant for things. It says great things. So if there are things that you want in life that could be great, I would be letting go of the past things that are holding you back so that you can have greatness. You have the Sun, which is very positive, of course. The Sun can make the whole entire reading more positive. The Sun is about your attention. At least I feel in your reading, Scorpio, it's talking about your attention. I don't always say this, but I do a lot, that the Sun is like a spotlight in a reading. It's like shining a light in your life. It's shining a light on something that is trying to capture your attention. So sometimes I feel, and especially you have the Star coming up right after it. So especially in readings where I have the Sun and the Star, To me, it kind of says that your attention is trying to get your attention by trying to make you pay attention to something. And so if there is something that keeps popping into your head, it could be an idea, it could be a person, a place, a thing, could be anything, then I would start taking action on whatever that is, because clearly the sun is trying to guide you towards greatness or something that would be great for you. And it will probably be something that makes you happy as well. That the sun is also a card of great happiness, and obviously I would do it, Scorpio, whatever it is. And let's see, the cards aren't cooperating. With the Six of Cups, you have the Nine of Swords. Definitely a good time to let go of the past again. This Mercury retrograde is ending in your sign. Today is November 21st. So the retrograde ends on the 29th. I'll publish this video on the 22nd. If you're watching this video early, then definitely when Mercury goes direct even, it could be a good time to end anything from your past that is repeating. With the Six of Cups, it does not have to be a love situation. It could be something that's stealing your happiness. It could just be a Groundhog's Day moment. If there's anything that is repeating over and over and over again, then this card, plus you have the Ten of Swords and the Hermit right next to it. Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with, and it's time to release it. So you could be releasing something that's been holding you back. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Lovers. Definitely a pretty good love reading for sure. You end with the Page of Cups here, so there could be like a new person coming in for you. Some of you could still be dealing with a past person. It's kind of popping into my head that you're dealing with a past person. So like if you are getting a divorce or if you have children with a person, that could be what you're kind of dealing with at this moment. But for the most part, I think the Lovers is talking about like a new connection. And, it could be time to heal from an old connection. The only problem with this reading is this right here, the Sun and the Moon. The Sun and the Moon can be two people who don't see eye to eye. It's not always a bad thing. It can just represent two people who are very different, and sometimes that works. We'll see what comes up as we clarify. With the Sun, you have the Knight of Swords. Yes, you need to charge towards happiness, like things that make you happy. Again, I feel that pretty much everyone is going to get this. I can almost guarantee you that in the 2026 readings, when I do them, which I'm going to be doing them soon, I bet pretty much everyone is going to get something about needing to create an environment of happiness, which means you need to have things that you do that make you happy or that bring you happiness. And then you need to make those things a practice, right? As in, you need to come up with some sort of routine where every single day you do like one thing that brings happiness into your life, at least. We need to bring more happiness down to earth right now. And, I think that's why the readings are focusing so heavily on this right now. And, again, it could be anything. Maybe you like to jump rope. Go, make it a 10-minute routine, part of your day, right? I don't think it has to be something that's like, takes hours and hours and hours. It could be something very simple, but I would definitely start charging towards it. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this card. It says prosperity lies ahead. I like that. You have this card that says you and your loved ones are safe. So there you go. You are protected. But definitely could be some prosperity. I think the prosperity is going to come through a change, which we'll talk about in just a second. It's funny. This card is New Moon in Taurus, and Taurus is your opposite sign. And we have Uranus in Taurus right now. Uranus in Taurus definitely wants us to build and leave a legacy, especially you, because it's your opposite sign. So, working on building a legacy or working on building like permanent success would be a good idea. You have the Hermit, the Ten of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Star. The Hermit and the Ten of Swords, it's like time to leave the mountain behind here, Scorpio. I like the Hermit. I don't think the Hermit is a bad card necessarily. He's been through a difficult period of time, but he has the Star in his lantern, and you have the Star in this row. He needs to open that lantern and shine his star out all over the place. The Ten of Swords is kind of good. I always say I think all tens in the tarot are positive. The Ten of Swords can represent a blessing in disguise, and it also represents something coming to an end. So, again, I think you are ending hermit mode, and you're coming down from the mountain and shining your light in the world. So it's definitely time for you to shine. Or it's time for you to shine your light and share what you have learned over the years, and I think that would be a good thing for you. You have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles says, is the juice worth the squeeze? The end of the year here, I think, would be a good time for you to look at the work that you're doing and say, is it worth it or not? With Mercury going back through Sagittarius next, in December, what's going to happen is that, it's probably your second house. Even if it's not your second house for whatever reason, doesn't matter. It's still going to affect you the same way. And so you are probably going to be looking a lot at value. What brings you value, how you create value, how you receive valuable things in life, all that. And the Seven of Pentacles, he's looking at these pentacles and he's saying, is it worth it? Was it worth it to grow these pentacles, or is there something better I can do with my time? And I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. Only you can answer that question. You have to look at the things that you spend the most time on, and you have to say, some of these things are worth it, some of them aren't. Get rid of the things that aren't worth it, double down on the things that are. Pretty simple, right? You have the Two of Pentacles here as well. Two of Pentacles is spinning plates, doing too much. So I think you're like simplifying at the end of the year here, and you're kind of maybe getting better at focusing on doing, one thing as far as work or business is concerned, or whatever you do during the day. You have the Star, which, again, I'm really happy to see the Star here, especially with the Hermit and the Sun. The Star is about shining your light as well. The Star is about focusing on one thing. This is your North Star. If you don't have a North Star, I would come up with one at this time. So a North Star is like having that one goal, or, one thing that you really want to achieve. People always ask me, well, what if I don't know what I want to achieve? I'm like, well, you got to go find something. It could be anything. And, you have to find something. And then people always ask me, what if I work on the wrong thing? I'm like, well, it's actually, we are all going to pick the wrong thing right now. So there you go. I just took that away from you because, Neptune and Pisces. We still have Neptune and Pisces until January. Anything we work on right now, like how we start is not how we're going to finish. And we all need to be okay with that. People always say to me, well, I don't want to put in all the work. I'm like, well, if you don't put in the work, you're not going to get to where you need to go in the first place. So you have to. But that's the point, is that Neptune and Pisces, like, we start one way, we start working, we get inspired to do something else, and we go do that other thing. And some people might be annoyed by that, but it's like, no, it shouldn't be annoying to you, because you're going to gain a bunch of skills. You're going to learn a lot of good lessons if you do that. And it's the only way we can get to where we need to go right now. It's our only option. So, I don't know what to tell you, but what I would say here is I would pick one thing and I would commit to it. The other part of the Star is that she's only dipping her toes in the water. I've probably said this to you before, Scorpio. We are definitely in a time where we can't just dip our toes in the water. We have to go all the way. We really have to make something happen. And that's what I would do with the Star. With the Ten of Swords and the Hermit, yes, you are meant to shine here, Scorpio. You have the Six of Wands. He's receiving credit for a job well done. The story of this guy is he's been to war, and now he's coming back, and he's being celebrated by all these people around him. But you have to, put yourself out there. You have to claim the successes to kind of get that celebration or to get that success. But definitely could be a victory. Again, the Hermit is about, sometimes I feel it's about needing to not work in silence. It's like there are things that you want to do. You have to do those things so that, people can give you credit for what you're working on. But definitely very good. With the Seven of Pentacles, you have the Sun again, which is amazing. Definitely a very positive reading. So the Sun, like I said, makes the whole entire reading more positive. The Sun is shining its light on that Seven of Pentacles, so clearly the reading wants you to pay attention to where you are putting your energy and what you're giving your energy to, so that you can become more efficient. With the Star, you have the Eight of Swords. Yes, Hermit. This might as well be the Hermit, basically, because Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. It's holding yourself back. That's also what I would be looking at if I were you, Scorpio, is the places in your life where you are holding back and not shining your light. Once you do that, I feel your life will change, basically, is what this reading is saying. The Eight of Swords is also only seeing one way of doing things when there are many ways to do things. You also have the Two of Swords right here. She is thinking this or that, but there's a new island behind her, and that new island represents another way of doing what she's trying to do. So both these ladies here have blindfolds on, and the blindfolds in the tarot represent needing to trust your intuition, or needing to tap in, needing to, meditate, download messages, whatever it is for you. We're all different. Like I said, some people get messages in the shower, like me. So take more showers or something. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this round and round card and this leg up. Yes, you started with the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is basically this round and round card. Nine of Swords is having a nightmare, waking up, being stuck in a nightmare. So it's time to let some sort of nightmare go in your life, or to take control over it. The thing with the Nine of Swords is he has a choice. That person in the bed could easily just get out of bed and get out of the situation. The good news is you have this leg up card, so you could be getting a little bit of a boost from a person who gives you advice or gives you an answer on what to do. So I would be paying attention to advice you're receiving, because it does feel to me like you're getting a little bit of a leg up here. Next, you have the Two of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Two of Swords. Also, Scorpio, make sure to like and leave a comment. Really helps me out. The Two of Pentacles is being busy, spinning plates, doing too much, which you probably are. So it's not necessarily bad. I don't really feel bad about this, Scorpio. If you have 2 jobs, for example, it's maybe you don't have a choice right now. But the Two of Pentacles, I would start thinking about how you can simplify things in your life, or how you can maybe get a different job where you only have to have one job, right? And I'm not saying this is going to be easy. I'm not saying it is easy, but I do feel if you try, you will eventually get there. This is also a card of your attention. We have these waves on the card. They start small, and then they get bigger as they go across the card. You have the Sun twice, which is talking about your attention. You have the waves on the Two of Pentacles, talking about your attention. The Two of Pentacles, I feel, is a card that sometimes can say something is getting harder to not pay attention to. Basically, it's the waves are getting bigger. Something is getting harder and harder and harder to ignore in your life. And so whatever that thing is, I would pay attention to it, change it, or move towards it if it's an opportunity, for example, that you keep thinking about, because clearly the universe wants you to. You have the Moon. The Moon can represent fears, fantasies, illusions, not being sure where you're going. It's part of the Fool's journey. He has to get from here to these mountains, and he is maybe a little bit scared, or maybe he doesn't know where he is going, or he doesn't have answers. Again, Neptune and Pisces, it's none of us are going to really know what we are doing. We just have to trust ourselves. I truly believe Neptune and Pisces and Neptune and Aries is about trusting ourselves. Neptune and Aries is looking for a savior. I think people will be looking for a person who has all the answers. But the universe is going to be no, Scorpio, you have all the answers, not some dude on the internet like me or someone else, right? So Neptune and Aries wants us to believe in ourselves more. That doesn't mean you can't listen to people, but I think the key term for Neptune and Aries will be trust but verify. You can learn from people, but you should be trying what you are learning and seeing if it works for you. If it does, great. Keep going. If it doesn't, stop. And, again, that's the easiest way to be successful over the next several years. Neptune will be in Aries until whenever, and, for 8 years or whatever, or 14 years, whatever it is. And, what I would say here is that trust but verify. And also start working towards a goal. You don't have to know all the answers, is what the Moon is saying. You have the Two of Swords. Again, trust your intuition. I think you need to tap more into your intuition. Even the Moon is very intuitive. So it could say that you need to really tap into that intuition of yours. The other thing, by the way, this just popped into my head. As far as love is concerned, it's I feel maybe one person is overt, very outgoing, very in your face type of energy, and one person might be more behind the scenes, and that could be the difference. It's you might be attracting maybe you're not outgoing and you're attracting someone who is very outgoing, or vice versa, right? There you go. With the Two of Pentacles, you have the Queen of Swords. Very good, because the Queen of Swords, she is clear for the first time. The clouds only come halfway up her body, and so she's seeing clearly for the first time. And a lot of you could be getting a lot more clarity, or you could be seeing the future more clearly, which I think would be good with this card. You could also be seeing what you need to pay attention to. With the Moon, you have the Judgment card. Judgment is a wake-up call, and it is your higher self. So again, there is a very strong energy of needing to communicate with your higher self in this reading, right? 8 of Swords, 2 of Swords, with the blindfolds. needing to carve out time to like meditate or take a shower or go for a walk, whatever it is for you, wherever you get your messages. Could be your dreams as well. And I feel this is saying you need to put yourself in a position where you can get messages because, clearly the universe is trying to guide you right now. With the Two of Swords, you have the Fool. I do feel there will be a lot of Fool energy at the end of the year here. This year, or I should say 2026, is, I think, going to start very quickly. I feel like this year, 2025, didn't really start till like June. It's like very slow beginning to the year. I think next year really kind of starts around March. But what I will say is that the beginning of the year is very good for starting. We have 10 conjunctions in January, which is crazy. I was looking at the astrology the other day, and I don't know when the last time there were 10 conjunctions in 1 month, right? And conjunctions are the most powerful placements or transits in astrology. And so the beginning of the year is very powerful. And if you want to get started on anything, any new journeys, any new projects, now is the time. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this great water card. It says yearning, dreams, right? Listen to your dreams, wishes, goals, abroad, foreign people, spirituality. Yes. You have a surprise visitor. It says surprise detours, unplanned events, expect the unexpected, shocking, different outcome than expected. Didn't I say that? I think I did. But Neptune and Pisces is a different outcome than expected. You start one way and finish another. So exactly what we were talking about. You have the Page of Cups, Five of Swords, and the Two of Wands. Page of Cups can definitely be a love offer or an admirer coming in for you. So for those of you looking for love, I do feel that this could be love. Maybe you don't start this month of December, or maybe it kind of like starts a little bit slow, I feel. We don't have like a lot of love stuff here. It just seems to me with the Two of Pentacles, you're focused on other things. But, again, you could be meeting a person that turns into something in the future. You have the Five of Swords. Five of Swords and the good stuff is about taking a risk. We are in a time of risk. We have to take risks right now. I think the type of risk that we should be taking is Pluto and Aquarius, which means the risk of standing out, the risk of speaking up and being wrong, the risk of starting a project and people saying that you were wrong or you are wrong. It's kind of like it's the risk of exposure, right? Those are the types of risks we should be taking right now because we have to. We have to stand out. Sun. Twice in your reading. Star, the Hermit, says you have the ability to stand out. You have the ability to gain a bunch of attention for accomplishing greatness with the Stag spirit, but you have to take the risk of doing it in the first place. You have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands and the good stuff is like progress and also taking the lead. So I feel like you are going to be making a lot of progress at the end of the year here, which is great. Again, I think this year was very slow. Even after June, I think it was very slow. But what I will say is I do feel a lot of people could be making a lot of progress in December. With the Page of Cups, you have the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a celebration, fun, enjoyment, having fun in life, doing fun things, enjoying your life. Could also be about meeting a person through friends. So if you're looking for love, spending more time with people who matter to you will probably be a good idea. Spending time with friends would be a good idea because you could meet a person. With the Five of Swords, you have the Nine of Pentacles. Love it. Nine of Pentacles is heaven on earth. So, by taking a risk, you could be creating heaven on earth for yourself. Now, again, this isn't going to happen overnight, but if you put the work in, it could happen more quickly than you think. Nine of Pentacles is also about focusing on your environment. Again, I have a feeling that 2026 there will probably be a heavy focus on the energy around us, like what we are surrounding ourselves with, right? And so I'm about to do the 2026 reading soon, and we'll see what comes up, but I definitely feel focusing on creating a positive environment for yourself as much as you can. I'm pretty sure I've said this to you a bunch this year, so definitely something you could focus on. With the Two of Wands, you have the High Priestess. Yes, tapping into your intuition. It's like the only thing you need to do. I feel like this will solve all your problems, the High Priestess. Really listening to your intuition, really tapping in and making the time to do it. You have this rainbow card. It says, the most difficult part of a situation is over. Love it. So ending difficulties, I think you have been through a difficult time, Scorpio, and things could be getting better. You have this fox that says shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. Yes, probably the best energy for everyone right now is being tactical. Uranus and Gemini. Uranus moves into Gemini, back into Gemini next year in April. And Uranus has already entered into Gemini. Anything that we want to accomplish, we should be looking at how everybody does it and then doing something different. It's just that simple. We need, unique approaches to what we're trying to accomplish is the key to success. Mark my words. You have the Sunrise card that says new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. Yes, Fool showing up in your reading. Definitely a fresh start coming in here. You have this fan. It says romance, celebration, party. Yes, I think you will be meeting a person by spending time with people. If you want love, I would definitely be socializing, putting yourself out there, doing things with friends, all that stuff. You have this wind chimes. It says peace and harmony. Sun, twice in the star, is all about creating peace and harmony in your life. So anything you can do to make that happen would be extra beneficial. But pretty simple stuff here, Scorpio. I like it. Thank you for being here. And make sure to leave a comment, and definitely enjoy your December.